Welcome back. I'm going to be making a replacement for this table. You saw in the last few videos I kept cutting through this on my track saw. I said I wasn't worried about it because eventually I would make a new one. We're going to do that today. Or we're going to start it today. This one's 4x4. We're going to go 4x6. I would like to make the framing out of maple, but I didn't have that in the budget. So I'm using 4x4s, 2x4s. I'm going to rip the edges off of the 2x4s so they're straight. You know, they have that radius from the factory. So we'll have some straight stock, and I think we're going to do half laps for the joints, the 4x4 to the 2x. So we'll get that all started here. Alright, I already got these cut down to size. I spared you having to watch me cut these down to size on the miter saw. 6 foot, going to be my stretchers across the front, 4 foot on the sides. I've got these two. They're going to be vertical supports in the middle. And I went ahead and ripped them down to 3 inches. I don't know how well you can see that. I took the radius off. Let's see. Took the radius off, make them look a little bit less like 2x4s. We'll sand it all up. So right now, we're gonna put this 8-inch dado blade in the table saw, and we're gonna cut those half laps. I think is what we're gonna do to join these to the legs. This is one of our legs. So what we're gonna have is these stretchers coming across like this. And we're gonna cut that out so this will sit flush with the front. So first what we want to do is mark where we want it. And I'm trying to get this lined up, but really the table saw will straighten it out. I just need to get my width right there. I'm gonna mark this. So I know I want to cut that out. And then as far as depth, so I'm going to cut all of that out. Now what we're going to do, open this up. Of course, you want to make sure your teeth are all facing the same way. I'll get this in the table saw and then I'll show you cut that out.
All right, this part got a little noisy, so we're going with the voiceover. We've got that dado stack in the table saw. We've got it raised up to 1.5 inches high, which is the same as the thickness of the 2x4s. And we're cutting the tops of our posts, those half laps in the top. You can see I have a scrap 2x4 clamped to the table saw fence, and I just have it on the back side so I can use it to butt my board against to get my measurements all the same, but I don't have it running the full length of the fence so it doesn't bind the post. So I'll just butt it up to that scrap 2x that's against the fence, make my first cut, and then slide the 4x4 over in increments about as wide as the dado stack to get that all hogged out of there. You can see I am wearing a dust mask and some safety glasses. These dado blades can be pretty messy and definitely quite dangerous, so it's not something I typically do, always wearing the safety equipment I should, but messing with these blades, I definitely will. And we'll get this end of the posts, all 4 posts cut out, and then we'll change our setup and I'll show you the other end. Alright, on to cutting the other ends. You can see I screwed 2 additional pieces of 2x. Here I have one on the back side, which is just extending my runner out to the end, and then I have a scrap piece on the end so I can butt that side of the post. So I'll butt it up against that little piece of 2x on the right, get my first cut, and then run these all the way across. We'll get these half laps cut. This will be the last 4, and move on to the next section.
All right, here's the 4 legs we cut. We haven't cleaned anything up. It's one of our stretchers. Let's see if it's gonna fit. Beautiful. beautiful.
I'll try to show you this real quick. So, it's kind of janky, but it works really good. Put a scrap 2x4 right there. Has my stop block for going that way on the dado. And then for this end here, I just screwed a couple pieces of 2x to this scrap board I have on my push stick there. So it'll stop you both ways. Worked out really good to get them all uniform. All right, got those dados all cut. 2x across here. I'm sorry. 2x across here. We're just gonna build it on the ground because that'll be the easiest right now. And fingers crossed, it should be somewhat easy. I'm putting these screws in here because I don't want to clamp it up and wait for the glue to dry. The legs are going to get painted, so I'm going to patch them and paint them anyway. So on all these joints, I'm going with Type Bond 2. That's what I have on hand. Type Bond 2, Type Bond 3, doesn't matter. And 3-inch wood screws, pre-drilling, sinking the screws, countersinking the screws, and then we'll putty those holes. Now, instead of doing all this, cutting the dados out and joining the boards like this, I could have just, I don't have a domino joiner, but I could have just used pocket hole screws. But I don't really like them. I only like pocket holes for joining face frames together. And I think this will be a lot more secure. All right, we're gonna put glue on all these boards instead of the legs, because I have that other end assembled. We're gonna try to, shit. These two don't go here. Ha. Those are for something else. God dang. All right, we've got glue on all 4 of those stretchers. We're gonna see how gracefully I can set this thing up here. There we go. All right, we're gonna be installing these leveling feet. So we have to drill out for this. It's 1/2 inch diameter. And then it has screws that also screw these into the feet, into the legs. And then we'll thread this into the threaded base. I have the center marked on each leg. We're gonna get these 6 installed. And then we'll stand it up, keep going. Got a 1/2 inch spade bit here.
Comes with these about 1/2 inch long screws. And just dropped on. Not much to say about this, is there? Putting them all the way down, I'll have to raise it up a little bit to match my table saw. Hopefully, it should be a little shorter than the table saw bed. And I also have some wheels, the ones that mount on the outside, I'm going to put on the 4 corners. Alright. Here's a little tip for you. If your frame is a little bit twisted, you know, you measure from that corner, this corner, that corner, this corner, you don't get the same measurement, you try to tweak it to get it to straighten out. You screw any board, scrap board on here. So I screwed this side, left that side loose, measured the two, and I had about 1/2 inch of difference. So then I pulled this board to tighten it up where the measurements were both the same, screwed it down. Now the frame is square and I can continue screwing these supports in the middle. I'll keep it that way. What's up? I figured I'd bring you down here with me. These are going to support lower piece of plywood, and I want it to be flush with this. So I have a scrap piece of ply. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to not torture myself actually. I'm going to go about 1/8 inch below this lip. Because if I try to go perfectly flush with it, chances are I'm going to screw up somewhere. I leave an 1/8 inch reveal and we'll be alright. Got all of our supports done. We can put the top on, put the bottom on, and then work on dividing the sides. This is for the bottom, should fit in there now, except for cutting out for these 4 posts. So I'm gonna do that now. It's gonna sit in here, so I'm gonna go 2 inches by 2 inches. So we're gonna take off every corner. Moment of truth. Am I the only one that makes such a mess when I work in the garage, in the shop? I have tools everywhere. Okay, let's see how fun this is. So try and get in there. Oh my. Look at that. Freaking beautiful. 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 I'm actually going to flip this on the side real quick and screw it. Got these 1 1/4" screws. I'm going to screw this down now. This is what we're using for the top. I don't see anybody do this. There might be a good reason for it. Pre-finished plywood. It's gonna be screwed from the bottom, so if it doesn't last, it's okay. We can replace it. Maybe go with melamine like a lot of other people do. This is what we got. All right, this side's flush, that side's flush. These two are hanging over about a 1/2 inch. I'm gonna try with the router. Wish me luck. Put that little Ryobi through the torture test there. Need to let it cool off. All right. That worked out pretty good. There's one spot here where I had a little glue buildup on that end. It kind of changed my router out. But I'll hit that with a sander. Welcome back. We time traveled a bit since yesterday. I think yesterday when we left off, my camera died a bit, but we just had the top and the bottom. You can see I've added this divided section here, which is going to be drawers. This is going to have a cabinet door on it, and I put this long storage up here for my track saw track and level, square. This is of course blocked off for that storage section. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this section yet because it's gonna be kind of inaccessible for the most part unless I move the table where the table's going, but I'll probably put a door right here just so I don't lose that storage. So we need to build 1 door, 2 door, and probably 3 and 3 drawers. But I want the bottom ones to be bigger to put my larger tools in. All right, I got all the drawer pieces cut. I saved you the pain of watching me cut these, but same as the last videos. Cut them all down to length on the miter saw, ripped them to size on the table saw, and then I cut the groove in the bottom. This, actually for these are my shop drawers, right? So this is all scrap. I'm using this 1/8 inch hardboard, which I typically wouldn't use. Minimum I ever use is 1/4 inch, but this is what I had, so that's what I'm using. And then I set the groove 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. I'm gonna put some supports under that, some 1x2s, 1x3s or something. Anyway, I'm gonna get the boxes together with brad nails, and then I'm also gonna secure them with these pocket hole screws. So we'll get these drilled out and then get on to assembly. It's not anything magnificent to see here, so I'll show you probably one of them and then we'll move on. These are my front pieces. They're going to screw into the sides, and I want the screw holes to be on the outside, because it'll be the front face, they'll be covered up, back face you won't see. That's what we've got basically. I'll get these all drilled out and then I will show you assembly. got all those pocket holes cut. Let's see if we can get these together now. These are my lower, These are the large drawers that are going to go on the bottom. And should go like so. Probably notice variations in the plywood. Like I said, these are my shop drawers, so I use all these scraps that I had left. I still have more, but no reason to go below the budget. We already have what we need. Make sure I have the orientation right. Screw should be on the outside. I'm gonna groove at the bottom, groove at the bottom, kind of about like that. Put a little glue on here. And I always like to line up the tops flush. The board should be the same, but you never know if your table is a little off or if you're sitting on some sawdust. And since I have the brads, I shouldn't have to worry about clamping anything. I'm not screwing the bottom ones in yet because sometimes those pocket holes get screwed right where the groove is on the bottom. So if you wait till you put your bottom panel in, that way it's not going to block your panel. You can run it through the panel if you have to. Let's see if I can show you why I was saying I wait to put that last screw in till the end, because sometimes it'll line up right with that groove. I'll actually screw into this bottom panel. You can't see it, but if you try to put that screw in before you have that panel in place, it'll be in your way. All right, got all 6 drawers assembled. Put that stretcher across here like we talked about. So have some scrap 1x2. Give it a little additional support. Got these spacks 1.25 inches. No, these are actually 1.5 inches. No pre-drill screws. All right, we got all the bottom supports installed onto installing the slides. I'm just going to line this up at the bottom of the drawer. Of course, line that up at the front, and I'm gonna screw it right there. lined up. Get my next one in. I'm gonna leave it for now. All right, remember, keep in mind what the front of your drawer is. Again, lining this up bottom of the drawer. Hold that in place. Front is lined up. The other screw in. Voila. I'll get the rest of the slides installed on the boxes and then we'll move over to installation. All right. Camera angle's kind of weird. Haven't put the wheels on, can't move it yet. So I'm gonna show you what I did. Because I have these 4x4 posts, my side panel is 1.25 inches in from the end of the post. So I added a strip of 3/4 inch and a strip of 1/2 inch plywood to bring this out pretty much flush with the post to mount my slides. I've got it here and on that end. The center portion, I cheated out those panels to make them flush with that framing member in the middle. So we'll get these slides installed. We're starting with the top one. And I've already marked out, based on my drawer dimensions, where I want these to go. So I'm gonna get it up here, put my level on it, get a few screws in. And we want the front of this flush with this face or just shy. So I know based on my measurement I have a line here where the bottom of this is going. So I'm gonna go ahead and put, and I've got it just shy. I'm gonna go ahead and put a screw in here. Okay, now I'll put my level on here. Important note, if you're gonna use a level to mount these, make sure your box is sitting level, whether it's a cabinet or a workbench, whatever you're installing slides on. So right there is where I want it. There's one. I have this side marked as well. So let's get this side mounted and try it out. It's weird with these short slides on this long box. Oh my God, it works. All right, I'll continue mounting the rest, then I'll get back to you. All right, check it out. I know I'm probably in your way, I'm sorry. I just had this idea. I know they make a gadget that assists you in installing slides, right? So instead of jacking around with the level, why don't I just clamp this where I want my slides? And then I can just set it on there. I don't know why I haven't done that before. Seems to be what you want though. Keep you parallel with the face here. Got all the drawers installed. Now it's on to making the faces. Making the faces and then see about these doors on the other side. All right, we're gonna make the doors for this end and that end. Had to run to the Home Depot. Got some select pine 1x3s. Got them cut to length already. This is the first time I'm gonna try this. This router bit set. Instead of what I typically do is cut these on the table saw. We'll get that set up and I'll show you that process. Got 2 scrap pieces here. We're gonna try this out first. All right, let's get these doors put together. What's weird, I used to only use Type Bond 3 and I didn't have any problem with these silicone brushes. I switched to Type Bond 2 or even Type Bond Original and it sticks on the brushes like crazy, like tearing the brushes up. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that.
So I'm cutting my scrap pieces here, and then I'm gonna take some measurements and just make sure that the tongue is centered on this board, and it is. So move along to my rails and stiles here, get them all routed out, and then on to assembly.
If you're on a budget, that will definitely work. Now, while those dry, look. Since it's my workbench, I just got a 1x8 for the face of the small drawers. And for the big drawers, I got this big edge glued panel, which is trash, I know, but it's gonna be quick. I'll rip it down to the 15 inches or whatever it was I need. Route a little fancy edge on it, screw it in place. It'll be golden. It'll save me from having to make railing style drawer fronts. And I don't want to do all that right now. All right, got our drawer fronts cut, routed, sanded. Again, this is just a 1x8. We're gonna use for these two smaller ones. For this, I needed a piece at least 13. 1x12 would be too small, and I didn't want to waste time making a rail and style door, so I got a 1x16 edge glued panel, and I ripped that down to 13. Just to make my life easier. I have a little mark here where I want the bottom of this first drawer, and I'm just eyeballing the difference, the overlap I have here. And then once I have one, I'll use that as a guide. And I lucked out, I can actually grab the bottom of the door and the face right here to just hold it. Because I don't know what I'm doing for handles yet. I may make some. I'll put these to hold it in place real quick. And check and see what I have here. 1 inch and 3/16. No way. 1 inch and 3/16. 1 inch and 3/16. That will never happen again. All right, here it is. Drawers, drawers, drawers. You saw we got these 6 drawers installed. I added this. I almost forgot about this. Craft paper roll. I just took a scrap piece of 1x3, used a jigsaw to cut out this U shape. This 1/2 inch PVC to fit in, and I put a screw on the inside of both of them so the rod can't slide out. We have our storage here. Got the upper storage for levels, drywall square, track saw, guide. The removable feet. These worked out pretty good. So you can see I've got these 2 taken off. Those are still in place. They just slide in, flip them down. You can move the bench wherever you want. Works out perfectly with my table saw. I have these 2 slots I'm going to round out for the track. So I'll do that another time. But for now, that's it. Watch. Huge improvement. Huge improvement over this crusty, dusty old thing. So we'll get rid of that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, please, if you haven't. Like, comment. Let me know what you think.